So today I'm going to take you through the process of getting your peas from your garden to your freezer. First you want to know when to start picking your peas. You see some of these are blooming and some of them are ready. So these ones down here, nice and thick, full. If you can see them in the light, you can see the peas forming inside. And then if you find, obviously, these ones aren't ready yet. So you're going to have different stages. You want to look for the full ones. And then you'll just start picking them. I use a bucket to sit on and a bucket to put them in. When you're grabbing your peas, you want to make sure you hold on to the top of the vine here and then give it a pull. So you're not pulling your peas off your fence or wherever you have them or wrecking your vines, because this for me is my first pick of the season. So there's a lot of peas that are going to be coming yet and you don't want to damage your plants. So I'm just going to pop this little video part in here because I'm assuming if you're watching this, you've never done your peas up for the freezer before. So if you're still a little unsure about your size and what size you should be picking, I've got a couple little samples here. So this little one is flat. It's going to be hard to open. And if you put it up into the sun, where's the sun? You're going to see, oh, I can't get it in there. There we go. How tiny the little peas are. Those little dark circles are your peas. And they're just starting to grow. And they're going to look like this. So they're just really tiny, just starting to form. And then if you get one, this was the most ripest one I could find. They'll start to turn yellow and get kind of a webbing on the skin, really rough. And they will be on the bitter side. This one isn't too bad because I got to it early. I would still put that in, obviously. But you'll notice they'll be squared off and big bumps on the side. Those are overripe and probably not worth doing unless you only have a few to throw in with your sweeter ones. And if you can get them in the sun here, you can kind of see. Sorry about that, I'm blinding myself. And this one is about the optimal size. The beans or the peas aren't going through, showing little bumps. It's big and firm, but not so big that you can't handle it. So you just open them up. And that's a perfect little size for your peas. They'll be nice and sweet, and they'll freeze up really nice over the winter. And let's see if I can get that in the light. You should be able to see them, but I opened it, so maybe not. Ooh. Not really. So for today, I just have a teeny little bit. Usually we get about 6 of these big buckets for 2 rows. But this will be a nice easy job today since I'm just doing my first pick. Okay, so now it's time to get shelling your peas. You're going to want to have your bucket or bag of peas that you just picked. Your other bucket for your shells. And then a bowl for the peas to drop into as you're shelling them. You're going to want to get comfy, either find a nice shady spot in your backyard, maybe you're on your deck, maybe you're coming inside and you're going to watch a movie and get comfy on the couch. That's what I'm going to be doing. So you're just going to grab your pea, and everybody shells differently. Most importantly, you're going to want to crack this back seam and then slide your peas out. So for me, I squish the bottom, open up the back, and then I use my finger to slide them off both sides. And then just toss the pea away. Some people, I'm not sure how they crack it because I don't do it this way, but I'll crack it my way. I think some people rip the top, the front, or the bottom off. Then they open it up, and then they pull this side off, and pull this side off. Whichever way you find is faster for you or more comfortable for you, that is how you're going to do it. And I will see you on the next part. Okay, you should have your peas all shelled and ready to go. I picked my peas pretty clean, so there's like no flour ends or anything in there. But if you have some dirt or flour ends or vines, just take them over into your sink, put them in your colander or whatever, and just give them a little rinse before you do it. But make sure if you use cold water that these are at room temperature before you start blanching, because if they're cold, they're going to take a lot longer for your water to start boiling once you put them in. You're going to need one of these pots. I have no idea what it's called. I tried to Google it. I was going for double broiler for blanching, and I ended up finding, what did I end up finding? I think it's called granite stockware pot, but if you look at the rest, they have a short little basket, but you want to have the one that has the tall basket that goes inside for straining. If you don't have one of these, you can just boil them in a pot and then use your colander to strain them after. You're just going to be limited by the size of your colander, and you're going to have to reboil your water every time from scratch. So if you can find these somewhere in your canning section, get one of those. And then when we go to freeze them, you're going to need a baking pan and a towel that's preferably cotton so there's no fuzzy ends. I used to just do it on the cotton towel, but I noticed about a year or two ago that when I cooked them, there were these little tiny fuzzes in the foam. So I've decided last year and then again this year, I just put some saran wrap across so that I know I'm not getting anything off my towel onto the peas when they're cooking. Okay, I think that's about all we need. Maybe a spoon for mixing, and we are ready to get going. Okay, you are ready to start your blanching. One thing I forgot to mention was you are going to want to sterilize all the pots and spoons that you are using. It's not quite as important for freezing, I don't think, as it is for canning, but why not just do it for everything is what I say, and then you know everything is good and safe and there's no bacteria. Although I think the freezer will kill bacteria, but don't quote me on that. Okay, so you're going to fill your pot up probably about 3/4 of the way. You need to remember that when you put your peas in, there's going to be some displacement, so you don't want to fill it right to the top, or you'll be running to grab something to drain some of that water out. So once you get that full, place it on your stove, turn your stove burner up to high, and let it boil. And once it's boiling, I will come back and we will start the next part of this procedure. Okay, we've got some boiling action going here. So let's go. I just got to check my trusty old book. This is an old book my aunt gave to me years and years ago. When is it? 1988. Okay, so we just find our peas in the book. There's lots of other books if you need them. I know Company Cummings has a great canning book. I don't know if it has freezing as well, I forget. So this says, shell and blanch 1.5 minutes, cool, drain, freeze on trays, package and seal. So let's get our peas in there. And we'll just slowly put them in, just so we don't splash anything around. And because mine were warm, it's still kind of boiling, so luckily I can start my timer right now, and I just use my stove timer. So I'm gonna do 1:30, and I think I will turn this off and come back once that timer's done. Okay, mine weren't quite boiling when I put them in, so I left them in for an extra 30 seconds. And they're definitely ready now. They also boiled over on me, so they might have even had an extra 30 seconds. So if you have this pot, you're just gonna lift them up, drain as much as you can out of there, and then get them in your sink right away. You can either put them in an ice bath in a larger bowl, or you can just put cold water on them. You want to cool them down as quick as you can, because they will continue cooking when they're warm. And you'll just keep doing that till they feel cool. Oh, they smell good. If you don't have one of these pots, just bring your pot over and drain it into your colander, and then do the same thing I'm doing right now. We are almost done. So that was the blanching part. That's super easy. And I was mentioning the Company Cummings book. I'm so used to using books and stuff. The internet, of course, will tell you how long to. But about 2 minutes. Okay, that should be pretty good. Sorry, my camera's wrapped around my neck here, so it's a little wibbly. And you want to make sure you have those strained really, I need to dry my hand so I can touch the phone. I dropped my towel on the floor to wipe up the water that boiled over. The drier they are, the easier they'll freeze single. Like this won't be hard, it's just a tiny little batch. But if you had this full, then they might stick together. And that's not a big problem. You can just break them apart into little pieces and freeze them that way too when you're taking them off the tray. So you just dump that on your tray. And you'll just spread them out nice and flat. This is actually the perfect amount for freezing, but I usually have it overflowing a bit. And they are a little wet, but that's okay. I will deal with that when I put them in bags, which is another thing I forgot to mention. You're going to need freezer bags. They don't have to be Ziploc. I don't even think these are freezer bags. No, they're just, oh yeah, they are freezer bags. Just make sure you don't buy the produce ones that got holes in them, and they'll work. You can use any size you want. Sometimes, like when I do corn, I like to slice it off of the cob and then put them in little sandwich bags, and then they're about the size like for a meal, just because they're a little harder to separate than peas. Whereas peas, you can just smash the bag and they'll break apart, whereas my corn ends up being in a nice block. So okay, so once these are cool, you will put them in your freezer. I don't know how short of a time, because usually it's tomorrow. They're probably ready in about, I don't know, 6 hours. You could check. But I will probably be doing mine tomorrow. Okay, so I've just checked my peas. It's been 4.5 hours and they are good and frozen. So let's break them up a little bit. Just pull on your dishcloth or whatever you have underneath. And it's okay if they stay in little chunks like this. They'll bust up in the bag. What you're just trying to do is get them all off of your, whatever you have covering your tray, so that they'll slide out into your bag. So you're just going to make a funnel. Let's see if I can do this. Can't really see through my camera, so this could be interesting. Get the one end of your towel in your bag, and then you should just be able to dump them all out and pull up your towel. Feels like there's none in there. And I don't think I even spilled one of them. And then you want to get as much air out of that bag as you can. Push it down. And then I'm just gonna push on them a little bit to separate some of those thicker pieces that came out. And then you'll want to write the date on your bag, and then you just stick that right down in the freezer and you're all finished. I think maybe I might, if you want to stay for a little bonus, I think I'm going to take these pea shells out to the cows. It'll be their first time having anything out of the garden, so they might not eat them. We'll see. I'll be back with that part in a second. I just got to get over there. Come on, boys! Come on, boys! We'll see if they like these. Once they get used to eating stuff like this, it's just a super treat for them, but so far they've just been eating grain, so we'll see. Oh, what are those things I put in there? You come to see too? Oops, my finger's in the way. Like, this isn't my grain, what the heck? You don't like? Oh, once you get eating them, you'll like them. If I come back in an hour, they'll be gone, but I guess they need a minute to figure out they're edible. What? It's good. Oh, let me try again. You just need to get one in their mouth. Then they'll be... Nope. Come on, have a treat. If you get your nose in the center, might be a little easier. Oh, I think that one's eating one, I think. There he goes. Well, I didn't come here to watch video of cows, so I'm going to shut you off. Thanks for watching my video. If you like it or have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. My channel is more crochet than this kind of stuff, so if you want to subscribe, feel free. I would like that, but it will mostly be crochet, so if you don't crochet, I don't know, it might not be of any interest to you except for the odd video. Thanks for watching and enjoy your first batch of peas.